known about them my whole life. They were in my family, but I think I was drawn to make them my own as I sort of faced a lot of problems as an adult. I had a bad marriage which broke up, and I had a child. And then I had another child, unexpectedly, not within a marriage. And it was at that point I really had to straighten things up. I was completely stretched out myself as far as I could handle things myself. I was not going to be able to make it alone. And that's when I swung back to the teachings I'd grown up with. And I'm telling you that those first few moments, finding out I was pregnant that second time, where I was so scared. I mean, I was petrified. Knew I was going to have to do this alone because of the circumstances. And I was pretty sure God was going to be mad at me, that there was going to be, lightning, if I went, and thunder and earthquakes. And it turned out, though, in my desperation, I was so frightened and scared that I went to God mentally on my knees, and I was lying down and crying, and I went to God and just said, what am I going to do? There's a new baby coming. And I got this sense of just love, just complete love. Just, I love you, Laura. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of the baby. Everything's going to be fine. And then I said, out of just gratitude, I'm going to live right from now on, and I'm going to come back to those teachings, and I'm going to dig into them, and I'm going to, really find out more about you, God. And that's really the point of the Ideas in Science and Health, is you find out about God. And you find out this huge source of strength and power and love that is there for you, even when you truly don't deserve it, and you've made a huge mistake. It doesn't matter to God when you come back, and all that love is there. And that's what impelled me. So I didn't change first and get the love. I got the love, which enabled me to change, which brought me very back, deeply into the ideas in Christian Science and Science and Health. And they never failed me. I did, raise the kids on my own for a long time, a lot of struggling. Again, I'm still on that journey to find out about God. And the Ideas in Science and Health clarify. They give me a structure for digging in and learning more and more about God. And as I've done that, what happened recently was kind of going to God with the question, okay, what's next? What more can I do with this? And the answer came back to find out about myself. And interestingly, I then picked up Science and Health with this idea to learn about myself, and it turns out it's a book about me. Well, she wrote this whole book about me. I thought she'd written it about Christian Science or about God or about Jesus or about something else, and then it turns out, no, it's totally about me. I can read it practically putting my own name in every sentence, as far as finding out about myself. And this has kind of opened up the world for me about how my expression of God, my individual, unique expression of God as He created, is something Science and Health encourages me to explore, encourages me to, succeed at. There's no limitations, there's no little boxes I have to fit into. And I have found that just truly enlarging. The ideas are exciting me every day. That kind of pursuit is the best thing ever. Well, recently this summer, one of the things in this finding out about myself thing, I reconnected with my desire to be involved in filmmaking, and I pursued a line in filmmaking which is the continuity supervisor. It's called script supervision. And I took a job on a film over the summer, and I got to be on the set, and I have grown children, and I was on a set with people that were half my age. And I had to cart, there's a lot of equipment, and I had to cart around my own equipment because it was just me doing that job. And I found myself, I pulled a muscle at one point, and it was painful, and I was like, and the ideas that came to me, unfortunately, were things like, am I too old to be doing this? What am I doing with all these really young people? They were all supercharged on caffeine, which I don't do, they go like blah, 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 for hours. And I injured myself, and maybe I didn't belong here, maybe this was stupid, blah, blah. And it was, the Ideas in Christian Science and Science and Health, which kind of turned me around, where I said, this is something I love to do. It's my dream. It's what I've always wanted to do. I love the camaraderie. I love what we're doing. I'm excited about it. It's so filled with expression of soul and idea and art and all this. There is no reason that I need to be inhibited in any way or limited or put, again, in that box. If I love it, I should be able to do it, 100%. And there's no, age is not a factor in this. And I, picked up my stuff and went back to work, the next day, and I made it through the film, and that, it got easier physically, but also I just got the sense that I really do belong here. This is, I don't need to cut myself off from it because of some supposed, you know, demographic. Had a fabulous time, you know, loved the people I was working with, did a good job, turns out, which was nice, my first film. And I feel like that's not something I would have considered doing if I didn't have kind of that grounding in the ideas in science and health and the truths that are there about my identity. I don't have to accept the limiting beliefs. I can embrace the enlarged, you know, identity that's presented there. And it works. It's great. Well, I tell you, interestingly, I mean, I just had this experience on this film set at the same age that she was when she wrote Science and Health. And so as far as like age being a limiting factor, I mean, look what she did after that. You know, she spent the next, you know, the second half of her life, which she wouldn't have known that, but it was the second half of her life, and accomplished so much. And as far as a role model for, you know, a woman like me who's now starting a new career, anything is possible. You can go as far as you want. I've got tons of time. I mean, the idea is that you've only got a certain amount of time and you're done. Mrs. Eddy blew that, you know, out of the water. She simply just kept doing what her passion was and pursuing those ideas and spreading those ideas and sharing those ideas. In every format, she was inquisitive and interested in every new media. She was trying to change the world with, you know, starting a newspaper, and like the last couple of years of her life that was going to change journalism. It really did change the face of journalism. So for me, that's inspiring because I feel like I've got a fire in my belly too to do something. And the temptation is to think that, well, you know, I've got these grown kids. Who am I to think I could X, Y, Z? But I can. You know, I can follow that example and just have all that energy and all those ideas, and nothing needs to, you know, I don't need to feel limited in any way. So in that sense, she's a huge inspiration to me. Well, in thinking about this career change for me, in a career where you might think there's a lot of competition, especially if you buy into the age thing, to realize that if I'm really exploring, first of all, the nature of God, and I'm really exploring my identity as sourced in the nature of God, and that I have been created by that divine idea, that divine source, then I am unique. There's only one of me. Only I can do what I've been, you know, what I am passionate about doing. And so therefore there really is no competition. And it's just about, you know, self-expression. So when I'm looking at a world situation where the economy is faltering or people are scrambling, they're not sure what they're supposed to be doing or where their supply is going to come from or where their well-being is going to come from, for me, more and more, it's about expressing your true identity, really getting to know it and expressing it fully and letting that individuality that is uniquely you be the thing that is the source of your ideas and your energy and supply, and all of that comes straight from God. And again, I don't think this is something that I would know that much about if I hadn't been a student of Christian Science. I just feel like the whole world is, you know, there's no limits, wide open.